Shoot the Shh. Well, you guys, if you haven't been up to date with what's going on right now, we're in the month of June. We're closing it out with the big bang of two special guests. That is a great, great, great example of some really good values that you should instill in your family. So, for starters, if you're a first timer here, I'm Mrs. Trouble, and I would like to welcome you guys to the channel. If you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe and give us a thumbs up there as you guys are viewing things because others need to know how valuable these conversations are. So, this channel is mostly centered around women empowerment and firearm safety awareness. However, for the month of June, we've been switching things up just a little bit to give guys a little bit more encouragement out there because Father's Day is one day, but we decided to celebrate for the entire month because I think guys need a little bit more encouragement to walk through a life of encouraging others and uplifting each other. So, without further ado, my special guest that I have with me today is none other than I would say Lamont Jr., but also known as Mr. Image and Mr. Brown. Okay, so welcome, welcome, you guys.
Good.
So basically, you guys, them to come on this channel, for a few reasons. But one that really stood out for me is some values that I want to make sure you guys leave with today. They really are a true example of what legacy, leadership, and love actually looks like when you put a dad and a son in the same room. So I wanted to make sure you guys had some good understandings of, what it really looks like to protect your kids, whether it's with the use of firearms or whether it's with the use of spiritual connections and all other types of valuable things that you can actually instill in your family. I also wanted you guys to know a couple of tips too about how can you introduce firearms to your kids if you do decide to do such a thing. So that's where I come in, being a licensed firearm instructor. I'm going to help you guide through that. And then finally, making sure you guys have a good understanding how faith actually can help build your family. And actually, it's the strongest kind of protection out there. So, Mr. Image, I'd like to start with you. If you can just introduce yourself fully, give a good understanding of who you are and what things you have going on today.
So for those that don't know, I go by the name of Mr. Imag, the Steam MC. I'm a music artist. I was born in Washington, D.C., live in PG County, Maryland. And yeah, I also founded a nonprofit organization known as the Swaliga Foundation. And we specialize in STEAM education. So I have a academic background in architectural engineering. But when I came back to DC, I wanted a way to get that information out to more young people. So I created the first ever STEAM hip hop curriculum. Basically, what we do is use music, creativity, the arts to teach about science, tech, engineering, and math. Um, we do after school programs, cultural exchange, helping young people travel overseas to places like South Africa and India. And we do a lot of free community events, just getting resources and things like that out to youth and families. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, thank you.
He said there, and I'm sure you're missing some things in between, but I think we get the gist of what things are. So I do want to go ahead and point out to you guys, as you guys are already in the chat, first of all, hey, 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 welcome, welcome to everyone. Thanks so much for joining. And definitely let us know where you are. We always like to know who's on the channel, who's watching, where are you coming from? Just shout out your area so we'll know. And then also, if you have any comments, any questions, go ahead and put in the chat box area. This is actually a community discussion. Yeah, sure, we're having a conversation amongst each other, but we're really having a conversation with you because we really learn from one another. It's not always one way, it's always about us learning from one another. So, Mr. Brown, now it is your time to have the floor, sir. If you can give us a little bit of background on you.
Like you said, thanks for having us on. Appreciate it. My name's Lamont Brown. This is my son. Proud of all the stuff he does and is doing. I'm the CEO of Pro Wash Incorporated, actually Pro Wash Pro Tint. We service PG County and also DC with car wash, detailing, and window tinting. We provide more shine in less time, and we also do the tint so you don't have to squint. So we've been doing that for 30 years now, and it's been a blessing uh, serving the community for that period of time. And definitely, as far as about me, definitely a God fearing man. Consider definitely a soldier in the army of the Lord. He has been way too good to me for me not to be a servant and a proponent of advancing His kingdom. So that's all I'm gonna say for now.
Really just see by just talking to him, just speaking with him, seeing how he's moving, things like that. It actually shows up, and I really love that. And I've always been encouraged by your entire family. I love Mr. Nay. So it's one of those things where I wanted to share this with the community because protection comes in so many different ways. Here on this channel, we primarily talk about our 2A rights and how we defend our family, but we rarely talk about how we defend our family and protect our family spiritually. So I wanted to kind of give some light to that from someone who would know better than I would, to how you actually did that with your family, or how you continue to do that, provide that type of protection spiritually for you and your family. Mr. Brown.
Relationship with God is what worked for me. Without that, definitely, actually, I couldn't even imagine have done it without that. To be honest, um, so I was 21 when he was born, and definitely wasn't on time to grow up mode. I was out there doing whatever. What at 21, I was very young, and but when he came, it was like a new responsibility. So prior to him coming, I would do various things because if anything happened, I would just hold myself accountable because it didn't really affect anyone else that was directly or that I was responsible for. So anyway, so that was definitely a blessing for me in terms of it made me grow up way quicker than I wanted to. Because I mean, I wasn't even thinking about growing up. I was thinking about having fun and handling my business. But anyway, with that said, that accelerated my spiritual maturity uh, because I knew I had more to think about than just myself, and I knew I didn't want anyone else to raise my child. So it altered a lot when that happened. And fast forward, it just my relationship with God has just developed over the years to knowing that He is my source for all things. My favorite scripture is Matthew 6:33. It's a familiar one. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all things will be added. And all things means all things. And a lot of times we're seeking so much, but we're seeking the wrong stuff. Uh, and our time here is short and it's very valuable. Our lives, the Bible says our lives are like a vapor. That's how quick it is. So not wanting to waste time, I value my time and value my family. And just priorities. Priorities is so important. And having your priorities in the right order. Sometimes we'll have the right priorities, but they're not in the right order. So God, family, relationships, those are the top three uh, in that order. God first, not even family before God, because you put family before God, then you're gonna wonder why everything is haywire because You didn't put God first. God, yeah. So and God always has our best interests, no matter what, in His vision and His plan and His purpose to reveal unto us the divine plan that He has for us, and that's what He wants us to do to reach our full potential because He made us. So that's why it's important to put Him first. Yeah. So
Talked about actually prioritizing things because I feel like a lot of people do struggle in that area. A lot of times, like you mentioned before, you became a dad at a time where you wasn't really, necessarily wanting to slow down. You just wanted to kind of live your life and have fun. And I feel like that's a common thing for many dads. Not to say women don't experience that too, but again, today we're here for dads. We're talking about men right now, and I really feel like all the men that I've ever experienced being around my life, a lot of times they fall in that same category. And it's a part of you guys prioritizing your responsibilities to step up to the plate, be a dad, instill things in your kids, and just finding a way of doing that and being encouraged. I would really like to ask too for you, Mr. Brown. From my understanding, you're not, really big on firearms because this is a 2A community that we're mostly talking to. I want to kind of set the record of understanding where both of you guys' point of view is on 2A rights or just owning firearms and things like that. I mean, without actually invading in your personal private life, but just more so your thought process around people owning firearms, carrying firearms. How do you guys feel about that?
you definitely need to be in a situation where you can protect yourself, um, especially now. It's a lot going on out here, and in terms of even when they came to grab Jesus, Peter was packing. He was packing a knife, and he cut his ear. He cut the guy's ear off. But I say that to say that you never know when that time is going to come when you need to protect yourself. So um, so yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like you need, as a man, as the man of a house, you need to be prepared and be ready at any time to protect your house.
Mitch?
Yeah, no, I actually just got my license. I got certified. Shout out to Trouble Defense. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, one of my favorite quotes, I always say, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. You know what I'm saying? And that basically just means like I want peace. And that's really what I put out into the world. Um, but yeah, I'm ready. Should that moment ever come, God forbid, where I gotta protect my family, protect people close to me, you know what I'm saying? That I think is a right that we all have and deserve.
Locations, again, it's Pro Wash, Pro Tint. It'll come up on Google, or whatever.
Look like it froze a little bit on my side.
Bowie.
Yeah,
Sorry,
one more
say that
time.
again because it froze on my side. I don't know if everybody else heard you.
Okay. And it's Pro Wash, Pro Tint. It will come up if you Google it. We got 4 locations in PG County, and one in DC. We got Clinton, Bowie, Capitol Heights, Upper Marlboro, and PG, and then we got the one in DC. That's on Kenilworth Avenue. So So yeah, we do the basic wash, in and out wash. We get you in and get you out pretty quick. That's kind of our niche. We do hand washing, and we don't take as much time as like someone really full blown detailing your car. So that's kind of one of our niches. We do a thorough wash in a short period of time, and you don't need an appointment. Just pull up, and you get a excellent hand wash in and out. And we also do auto detailing, of course, where we do the full blown steam cleaning, shampooing, buff waxing. We do ceramic coating. So all detailing components as well. And then we do the window tinting. All our window tinting comes with lifetime warranty. Takes about 45 minutes, no more than an hour to tint a car normally. We do walk-ins, or you can go online, pay online, book online, however you want to do it. So yeah, that's it. And we've been around since 97, 1997 is when the first location opened up. Yeah.
You definitely know what you're doing. So,
'Cause, like, people really gotta understand. He just said since '97. This is a black-owned, family-owned business, you know what I'm saying, that's all across PG County now and in DC. And even if it wasn't, like, my family business, I take my truck there. I've seen, a lot of people go to the automatic washes, all that type of stuff. If you are trying to get your car clean, like, actually the best service that you can get in terms of quality, you know what I'm saying, and the prices, and it's a one-stop shop. You get your windows tinted, like, it definitely is worth people checking out, people that's watching. Pro Wash, Pro Tint, best in the business, hands down.
Yes, we do.
down stuff that sometimes other people might shut down, not so sensitive about a whole bunch of things. Long as we maintain a respect for everybody, I'm good with a good laugh. So it's all good here, heck. So, but definitely congratulations to you guys for the different locations, for the longevity. I really, really just, appreciate you guys doing such a great work in the community and helping others and providing jobs for others out there and being inspiration and showing people that it is possible to do this. There may be some men here that need some encouragement to say that they might want to start their business, and they're not sure if they can do it in this area, and maybe looking at what you guys are doing could be just the inspiration they needed. They say, hey, this is a dad here who's raised his kids and still has this business ongoing in the DMV area. So maybe that might be just the encouragement somebody needs. So I really appreciate you saying that. Now, somebody did ask a crazy question. I am going to go ahead and ask that. I don't know if y'all saw that or not, but Michael asks, have you ever had to pull out a pistol on a customer? What's your craziest story?
Craziest story. Actually, we've been blessed, to be honest. We don't have many crazy stories. Uh, we did have an incident at the DC location. Shout out to good old DC. That's the newest location. Actually, I'm not even going to disclose too much, but um, I'm trying to think. That was crazy. It was crazy. Uh,
Rough, no feathers or nothing. That's all right. That's all right. So it's Michael said, no crackhead try to take a vehicle. So I can definitely see the DMV area for sure. So, but I want to go ahead and just switch the scene a little bit to, the type of legacy that has been instilled in Mr. Image here by being an entrepreneur. I want to ask you, Mr. Image, what made you as a rapper? Did the rapping start first, or was it the idea of the Swaliga Foundation start first? How did things go for you in order, and what inspired you to go down this path in life?
We started first. I've been, yeah, in love with music since I was very young, a little kid, from playing piano, then writing poems to by the time I got to high school, I was in a gospel rap group. And we were very successful to the point we had got a record deal, got signed with Universal. We performing every weekend when we're not in school, doing shows and stuff like that. For whatever reason, the deal fell through, and I was faced with a very tough decision. My folks was like, all right, well, what's the plan? You know what I'm saying? Like, the music is, we're on pause for a second. So I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna just go get an engineering degree. That was my plan. Didn't realize at the time how hard that was actually gonna be. So it was definitely a struggle. I'm always very open and honest about that. But I found myself up in Philly, went to Drexel University, and pretty much got to a point where in my third year, I was on academic probation. I was throwing parties. I was just very off task, as you could say. And it led me to get in a situation where I had to run in with the law. And I found myself at the courthouse in Philly, talking to who was supposed to be my probation officer at the time. And this dude, was reading me all of the things that I had to do to like get off of probation or whatever. But he stopped in the middle of the conversation. We're supposed to be having a meeting. And he started speaking into my life. He started like saying, yo, you're a leader. You're supposed to be doing more for the community. You're supposed to be wealthy. You're supposed to be helping people. And I'll never forget it. The last thing he said was, you're supposed to shepherd an organization to help your peers find their purpose. And I'll never forget that day. That was 4/20, 2011. And
Y'all peep the date, right?
so
That's why I ended up in the. Go ahead, man.
yeah, okay. So what makes that funny is it was a weed charge. We keep it all the way funky. That being in court on 4/20 for that is quite ironic. God has a sense of humor. Um, but from that day forward was trying to figure out what that means. You know what I'm saying? If I was to start an organization, what would the name of it be? What's the mission? None of that was clear. So I was really just kind of praying, seeking God, trying to figure out what that could look like. Fast forward, I did graduate, thankfully, got my degree in architectural engineering, came back to DC, and I founded the Swaliga Foundation. And the word or the name Swaliga, it derives from the island of St. Martin, the original name before it was colonized. And it speaks to the passion of the people. And that's what we do. We help young people find what they're passionate about and give them a pathway to turn that into a successful career. And like I always say, I never planned on teaching or starting a nonprofit. I just wanted to do music. You know what I'm saying? And I'm blessed to be able to say that I still do music, and that's like my full-time gig. But this has definitely been a blessing for me. And I always say Swaliga actually saved my life, gave me something positive to focus on, and that's what we give to more young people.
Journey, and I'm glad that that person did instill in you to provide purpose for others, because that's the one thing I honestly really feel like is missing with this generation that's coming up right now is purpose. um I think that you may be able to attest to this dealing with the young people all the time, that I find a lot of young people don't really have any purpose. They walk around, they say and they act like they don't care. And when I mean they don't care, I mean they don't care about nothing, like nothing. Nothing is important. And, and I find it ironic because we're all human. We all have feelings. We all have emotions, but they act like they really don't have none. The only one that you'll really see in the front surface is anger, frustration, And a lot of times it may come from many different sources and things, but it's a common thing that I feel like not enough men, and I'm going to say men because you guys are the leaders, right? I'm going to say men right now, maybe not stepping up to the plate of encouraging those young men around them and helping them do things, which I know both of you guys are already an exemplary of that and doing those things. So I appreciate you guys doing that. And that's why I wanted this spotlight for you guys today, because this is extremely important. We have such a major problem here in the States where gun violence is a big deal, particularly in the city areas such as DC. We have a lot of gun violence. And when people hear the term gun violence, and I say this many times on my channel, a lot of times we think about homicide, but we also forget that a part of gun violence is actually suicide. And suicide actually accounts for more cases in the United States than it does homicide, believe it or not. So I find it quite interesting that we have these issues dealing around someone feeling like they want to take their own life. We're not addressing it. And I think some of that addressing it could be just simply having a purpose, because that's why they're taking their life, because they feel like they don't have a purpose. They don't have a reason to be here anymore. And so things like this, things that you guys are both doing, actually gives purpose to those people that are around you. And I appreciate you guys for doing that, honestly. I mean, even when I'm talking to kids about firearm safety, I'm always talking to them about, when you use this firearm for something, and you use it for something outside of self-defense, or even in self-defense, who does this firearm use affect? And I always make them think about that. And I usually ask them to tell me the answer, because I want them to think about that. Because it doesn't just affect you, the person who says they don't care about nothing, right? It's going to affect the mom, the dad, the cousin, the best friend of you, and the person that was injured by the gun. So these are all things that I always try to instill in people. And I really, really, really appreciate you guys for showing up about this, honestly. So I see the chat is going off. So I'm just trying to take a chat, check on all that. And I see.
Go in a little bit more on that purpose word, because we hear that thrown around a lot, and I don't think everybody just kind of understands what that means. And a lot of people, young and old, are still trying to figure that out. And I think one of the cool things that I always tell the youngest that we work with, even if you don't know your purpose yet, um being around people and modeling yourself after people that do know their purpose and are making forward progress, that are being productive, that's going to help you figure it out. And the other piece is being of service, right? We talked about, what I'm saying, doing God's work, but being of service to people and being able to help your community is a great way to start to move in that direction. So I gotta finish the other part of the story. Because this was the first time that me and my pops was ever not on the same page. You know what I'm saying? I've always, any whatever they say, like lean into that wisdom and follow in that direction. But what happened when I came home from Drexel, right? I started this nonprofit. I had an engineering degree, but I didn't have a job. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, you started a nonprofit, that's cool. But it's like, yo, how you gonna make money? You know what I'm saying? So I started volunteering at the Boys and Girls Clubs, Greater Washington, right over there off Bennett Road in Northeast. Shout out to Clubhouse 14. And they had this studio equipment donated, and they had a bunch of teens coming in. They wanted to learn how to rap, they wanted to learn how to make beats. And I was like, yo, I know how to use all of this stuff. So I set up the studio, and we had teens coming in there, and they loved it. And it got to the point where we outgrew the space that we were in. They started bringing their friends, bringing a bunch of other people, and we were in the studio, and I was just explaining to them how the stuff that they were really interested in and they were passionate about connected also to math and physics and other science, right? And that's when you get into STEAM education, and that became known as STEAM the Block. So fast forward, I was doing this for free for about a month, 4 months, volunteering, just going up there, putting this together, figuring things out. And I was working at the shop, I was working at Pro Wash, but it got to the point where my folks was like, all right, like this is cool, bro, but like, what's the plan? Like, this can't be the full plan. So then fast forward, I was still applying for jobs, with this engineering degree, and it came to the point where the very same week Can't make this up. Very same week, I got offered an engineering job that would basically set me up to get trained and go into like a director position, making well over six figures, traveling the country, doing what I went to school for, basically. The very same week I got that offer, the Boys and Girls Club offered me a position to get paid to get a salary where I'd be making pretty much half the engineering salary. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking to my folks about it, and they were like, "Well, this is a no-brainer. I mean, you gotta get that bread." You know what I'm saying? We did all of this so you could get this degree. This should. I mean, what are we even talking about right now? But I was like, "Nah, like I'm feeling like this is where I'm supposed to be at. I'm supposed to be helping these youngins. I'm supposed to be doing STEAM. And I want to take this other position." And yeah, they pretty much didn't talk to me for a minute after that.
Yeah, we was blown because we was blown, but we was trying to get a return on our investment because that education cost about $250,000 for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
But to his point, though, I think a lot of people, like he said, the purpose. A lot of people so fixed on making money that they do things that they not going to be able to stick with because they're in it for the wrong reasons. And with that said, uh, I know when I was coming up, they would always show you the salaries of a career. Like if you was going to choose your career, they would always show you these salaries. And all of us, me and my crew, we would always look at the numbers more so than what was the left side was the title of the career, and the right side was the numbers. We was so fixated on the numbers, we was like, forget what they doing. They making, that's where the money is. So going to that. But um, you gotta realize those are based on averages. So that means the average person in a certain field makes those numbers. But one thing, as growing up, I didn't realize that, first of all, if you're doing what you're called and supposed to do, you're not going to be average in that field. You're going to be at the top echelon, meaning that if they say they make 75, the average person makes 75, because you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're not going to make 75. You're going to be making six figures because you're at the top of your field because you're doing what you was created to do. So that's something to be mindful of. Don't chase the dog. Even though I was trying to get
Point something out that you guys, I don't know if you're seeing in the comments, but we're getting requests that both of y'all freestyle. Okay. Now, Mr. Brown, I don't really know if you rap, but I always assume that you did because even the way you talk, I already know you got some freestyle in you. So I don't know if y'all want to do that or not right now, but if y'all do, I'm all for it.
Hilarious. Hilarious.
now. Look. So all my little rapping and lyricist genes was left me when he was born.
We'll go with that.
That's why he's so tight. Cause I gave him all I had, and whatever his mama had in her, it went in him too. Cause she don't have nothing either. So we gave all our stuff away. It's all in the package right here.
Much appreciated. Nah, I dropped some bars.
Do the
So
three word thing.
yeah, what I usually like to do, because when I spit, people don't believe it's an actual freestyle, like I'm making it up. So if y'all drop in the chat, I'll take the first three words. We just drop any three random words that's not a name or not nothing weird. Three words.
No cuss
And
words.
yeah, no cuss words. And then I throw it into a freestyle real quick, drop some bars. I do this drink called freestyle practice. I'm actually training. And I always tell people too, even if you don't rap, like we do this in our class, you know what I'm saying? It's a great way to get that brain muscle, you know what I'm saying? Both sides of your brain working together. It makes you sharp. Whatever your field is, whatever you into, is just a great way, even if you're doing it for fun, to, you know what I'm saying, make sure you on point. So we got trouble. Guns and faith. Those are three good ones. We got some more words coming in. King's motion, trouble again. So trouble is definitely one. Um, Israel. Okay, fit with Vina. I see you. Israel. That's a good one. That's tough. King's motion, trouble. All right, bet. Let's keep it quick. Trump, money, and killer. All right, bet. So we got
And put out there. If you do like what you're seeing in this content, please go ahead and subscribe. Your support is really much appreciated. And if you love this video so far, go ahead and give a thumbs up so others can know this is worthwhile even watching. Well, anyway, Mr. Image, the floor is yours, sir.
it on the double. Yeah, I'm always ready for action, no trouble. They don't want that. Got that defense on me. I'm a child of God, got that God on me. We the chosen people talking Israel. And we get into the money too. Don't be down. Don't ever think for a second that we don't got it. And we got justice. I stick to the topic. Yep. Shout out to my pops saying, yep. Shout out to my moms and yup, the fam with me. That's why we so strong. I could flow for hours. I could keep going on. It's the energy. Yup, Mr. Imag. Got bars for days, nothing they pretend to be. But it's all good because we just keeping it all tight. And I'ma stop right there because I'll go all night. Whatever. I'm gonna stop.
Let's follow him on Instagram. I went ahead and plug that in the description area as well. So you guys can actually follow him on Instagram. You see what he's about. He do this all the time. Like you said, it can go forever with this. Definitely. He's real, y'all. He's real, definitely. And I have always been attached to music. Always. So even, back in the day, I see you rap or whatever with the group. And I was just like, yeah, okay. I see you. And then when I was able to see like your Instagram, I was like, I hope you don't think I'm stalking him, but like seriously, I hadn't heard you rapping forever, and I was like, this is dope. And I'm just, man, you just make me smile, man. You just make me smile because it's like real hip hop. I don't know what happened. I don't know why they going for all this other stuff. This, this drill music, this mumble rap stuff. I'm like, all that's dead. They need to stop. Bring real MC back, and you got it. You got it. Definitely. So that's, I mean, honestly, when you work and walk through the area of music, do you feel like, there was a time where music could have been something that consumed you in a wrong direction? Because there's a lot of negativity in that field.
With the entertainment industry right now. Like we're seeing a lot of the different distractions and the ways that something that could start so pure, so innocent, or I just love music, how that can lead you down a certain path. So I saw that early. Thankfully, I did have my family covering me, you know what I'm saying? And we starting young, like they're in the meetings, they're like listening to everything that's going on. But when you really get into it, if you're really like tapped in with the entertainment industry, it's a lot of wicked stuff. There's a lot going on behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? But what I say, just going back to that purpose word, and I would say if you have, like for myself, what helped me having like an actual mission and a goal for my music that isn't based on, you know what I'm saying, me just saying a bunch of stuff to sell a bunch of records. You know what I'm saying? Just keeping it authentic, speaking from the heart, keeping the truth in it that speaks to the people that I'm really speaking to. You know what I'm saying? That keeps you focused and you don't really get distracted or they try to dangle shiny things in front of you. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I had a record deal before. You know what I'm saying? I had been many opportunities before, but it's like when you're really moving with a purpose, it definitely helps you to dodge a lot of that stuff that could find you in, you know what I'm saying? Like really bad situations. I'll say that. So I think it's really up to you. No matter what industry you in, it's really up to you to just have that vision and foresight of what you want to see happen, where you want to take it. You know what I'm saying? And then you can navigate it definitely.
So many people out here, honestly, I was just thinking about this, actually going in this direction now. I was sitting there with my one of my daughters earlier today, and we were looking at YouTube, and she popped on something she thought I'd like to look at, because I'm always trying to learn stuff and I love music. So I do my hardest to know what's going on with hip hop, what's going on with R&B and all this. So I know like a lot of the backstories to, why Tony Braxton went broke, and why T-Pain went broke, and why, the list goes on and on and on. And I looked at this video, and I'm like looking at this dude content. I'm like, I really appreciate him sharing this. Honestly, this is all everything I already knew, because I'm such a fan. I'm a fan of music, and I like to see the progression of people. But then I'm also torn and heartbroken when some of my favorite artists aren't out there pumping music, and I'd be like wondering why not. And because things happen, they go broke, and the thing is, they glorify musicians out there, and people think that rappers and whatever type of artist is rich, because they see them with all this jewelry on, they see them with all these cars and these houses and stuff. What was the show back in the day? There you go. That's it right there. And, thinking about that, how that was so fake. Like, so many people thought that stuff was real, but it was so fake in many cases. And man, it boggles me, the fact that, just like Mr. Brown was talking about growing up, he was chasing the money for a minute, not understanding purpose versus money. And this is one of the things, how they snag our young people in this industry that's not really good for them, and making them lose their purpose because they dangling that shiny thing, like you said. And that's what they're chasing. But realistically, y'all find y'all purpose. Guide y'all kids into finding their purpose, because even myself, it took me a while to understand my purpose, and I'm still learning every day a little bit better, how to be a better wife, how to be a better mom, how to be a better walker in my purpose of empowering women. And when I tell you, it's so relieving. It was so stressful going to a 9 to 5. So stressful. I was stressed every single day. Now the stress is different. It's good stress. I'm still stressed, but not sad, not depressed, not angry. I'm just like at peace and relief, like joyful even on an everyday basis, because now knowing my purpose is making me move differently. And I'm instilling love and encouragement to my kids instead of depression, sadness, anger, frustration. We pour that into all the people we're around when we feel that. So, and it's important, if you guys gonna be a 2A household and you got kids growing up with guns, you got to help them understand, like, their emotions are really important, and how to navigate them is really important, because they can be a person that falls victim to that homicide or suicide case by the use of firearms. So it starts in a home, and that's extremely important for you guys to understand and take with you. So I really hope that everybody out there is doing your part to help your family, honestly. So let's see. Somebody said I'm in Largo. Definitely drop by and get my car washed. Good, good, good. Got a customer.
Hey, we closed on Sunday. Yeah.
Like Chick-fil-A.
You never been at a Diddy party.
Yeah, too. And yes, but shit. I mean, but that's what I'm saying though. Like, these are, since you brought it up, like these are people that were held up to us. You know what I'm saying? I used to be the thing back in the day, like, oh, if I could, get signed by somebody like Jay-Z or somebody like that. But what you don't see is like all of the other artists, you know what I'm saying? Like they have this facade, they make it seem like they got a lot of money, but the whole thing is a scam for real. You know what I'm saying? And the stuff that they gotta do try to keep up that facade is not real. That's why you'll hear about somebody and be like, "Hey, what happened to so and so?" You know what I'm saying? They dealing with life. These are real people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you really gotta stay locked in and stay tapped in with something real to have that longevity to make a career out of it. Like it's really ways that you can navigate it without getting caught up in the foolishness. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. It really is.
understand how to evolve and stay up with the times. You've been in business for a long time. I know there's a lot of stuff that changed over the last, what, 20, 25 years. There's a lot of stuff that done changed in business and even in your own industry. How did you maintain staying relevant? What things did you feel like you implemented to actually stay relevant? I would like to know, as an entrepreneur, what can I learn about that? Because I want to get that longevity in my field, honestly.
Service. I mean, that's always gonna be your best advertisement, no matter what business you in, is the customer being satisfied once they leave your business. That's your advertisement. And you gotta treat every customer as such. You know how they say they have like I know you watch them shows, they say like they have a big influencer coming to a restaurant to try the food and make sure that everything's perfect. Well, truth is, every customer that walk through your door is an influencer. So, I mean, I'd say start there, and on a day to day basis. Meaning that was true when we first started, and we try to hold up that standard 30 years later.
Because I actually I agree with that wholeheartedly. I preach to my kids about how I want Chick-fil-A service. No matter what avenue of life, I want Chick-fil-A service. And if anybody can understand what I'm saying about that, have you ever gone to multiple different Chick-fil-A locations and got the same customer service from each location? I can't be the only one. I know I've been to at least six or so different locations, and I've gotten the same customer service from one place to another. And that always gravitated with me because I'm like, oh yeah, I need to do that. No matter how much staff I might have, how many people that partner with me, all our customers need that same customer service all the way across the board. And it has been vital and detriment to the success of our business. And so I definitely agree with that 100%. Now, going to the chat, somebody asks, what advice do you give the youth that want to be rappers?
The game has changed so much now. Just to keep it a buck, ain't nobody really making money off music like that. Music is free. Everybody listening to it on their phones. You get music anywhere. So what happens now? Music is connected to a product, connected to a business. You know what I'm saying? I tell youngins, you are a business. And one of the things that made me successful, obviously, I had an engineering degree, but I tied my music to something else that was very substantial. And the reality is, because of like social media and the age that we live in, you don't need a record label no more. You really don't. You don't got to pay nobody to do the stuff you can do yourself, which is market yourself. You know what I'm saying? And it's to the point now where if you can just simple numbers, if you can get 1,000 fans, you don't even need 1 million yet. If you can get 1,000 people that'll spend $50 with you in a year, that's 50 bands. That's $50,000 in a year. That's the makings of a salary that you can build upon. You know what I'm saying? That 50 could come from, oh, they bought a t-shirt from your website, or oh, they bought a ticket to your show. You know what I'm saying? Like, really got to start thinking about it differently and finding your niche audience. And that comes from being authentic. I tell the youngest too, like, don't come, they were, oh, Mr. Image, I want you to hear my rap. Like, don't come talking about 100 round, 50 round, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear that, especially if you're not really about that life. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not gonna help you sell music, and that's not gonna be sustainable. You know what I'm saying? That's not real. So it's like, tell your story. That's a lot of stories that aren't being told through the music that people actually want to hear, just like movies. You know what I'm saying? We get tired of hearing the same thing over and over. So just to sum that up, I would say be authentic, be yourself, and have a plan and figure out how you can connect with the people that want to hear you, that's going to support you, and be consistent. That's it. You still got to put the work in.
I have a little segment that I call rapid fire. So I ask my guests to I ask you a question, and as quick as possible, you go ahead and just give me that answer. to whatever you feel is right for the answer to this question. So I got two questions for both of y'all, okay? All right, ain't nothing too crazy, so don't panic. All right, so Mr. Brown, you first, sir. Your first two questions. So your first question is, what is one thing every father should teach his child before they leave home? Before they
When they get grown, oh, uh, be a man of your word or woman of your word, integrity. Do what you say you're gonna do.
Good one.
lesson to your son about protection, whether it was spiritual or physical.
I don't know. First lesson. Well, I say one that stands out is just being uh the power of prayer and seeking God for help when stuff get crazy.
No homage to the fact that I know you have a daughter as well. So you had the best of both worlds. And was there a difference in how you instill protection, her protecting herself?
Tell dad if you got any problems with him. Just stand up and do what you gotta do, and don't be no chump. Meaning, but for her, it's like, well, if you got a problem, let me know. So I mean, I guess that's probably unbalanced, but anyway. Yeah. 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 Mhm.
Female equal and all this. I don't necessarily agree with all that all the time. I am a strong black woman. I get that. There's a lot that I can do, but there are some things that are different from male to female. And I'm gonna be 100% with that. There's certain things I'm just not gonna do because I feel like I'm a woman. There's men out there to do this, or vice versa. So that's just me being a realist. There's plenty of other women out there that feel different. So I hope I'm not offending nobody, but that's just my point of view. So I can understand your child rearing being that style to say I approach this differently because she's a woman and he's a man. Now, Mr. Image, your two questions, sir. What's one piece of advice from your dad you still live by today?
The main one was about prayer. I would say, be mindful of your money. This dude and managing money. He like, I don't know if y'all ever seen SpongeBob, the Krusty Krab, Mr. Krab. You know where every penny going. Nah, but in a good way though. In a good way. Save your money, manage your money well, be smart with your money. I would say that's one thing, other than obviously, the prayer aspect for sure.
It was the turn to lead and protect others.
Necessity. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I was just doing God knows what. Like I was focused on myself and I got called up. You know what I'm saying? Like I got a mission. And I think allowing me to see it from a different lens, like you were just talking earlier in DC, just all the youngins that are just struggling to figure out what they're gonna do. A lot of them are hopeless, you know what I'm saying? A lot of them are um out here wilding, just to be blunt, you know what I'm saying? They out here wilding, but it's because they don't understand the power that they have. And me meeting enough youngins like that, where I could tell, like, yo, this kid is probably smarter than half of the dudes that was in my engineering school, but he's out here doing whatever that's not really helping him or his life. You know what I'm saying? Even with the young ladies, same thing. Like these young people got all of this creativity, they got all of these like ideas, and all of these things that they could do, but they're in places that don't necessarily feed that or support that. So I just wanted a way that we could show them something different, even if it's just them watching me leading by example, but just giving them at least another option of like, yo, actually, I could start my own business and work for myself. You know what I'm saying? Or I could do something that I love to do. And I think that was the more people that I was able to help and the more young people that I saw make that decision, just confirmed that for me, made me want to do it more for sure.
You felt that need and you're constantly trying to fill that need, and I feel like that's something that everybody needs to aspire to do, regardless of what field is your passion, regardless of what field you happen to just fall into, because some people just going to work day to day and it's not really their passion, but you're there. And God don't make no mistakes. As ugly as a lot of things is on earth, there's a lot of different things that take place that we might not wish to happen. We might end up in places we wish we wasn't there, but you're there for a reason. And while you're there, pour into someone else. I guarantee you, blessing someone else is going to bless you in turn. It always happens, non-fail. Okay. It shouldn't be your reason for doing it, but just to be honest, the evidence is there to say that, to support that. And what I'm going to say is everything we do, we should definitely be heartfelt about it. Regardless of how we decide to protect our family, people choose to not have guns. People choose to have guns. People choose to educate their kids about firearm safety awareness, and others choose to not mention it because they're afraid of, what they should do and what they shouldn't do. And it's a lot of backlash about firearms. And I always tell people that regardless of what your field is, regardless, how much backlash, you are in a place that you can help somebody. And so that's one of the things that I always aspire to do is helping others. Instilling that confidence, like you were talking about, Mr. Image, is extremely important. I mean, that confidence that, you have a skill, use it. you know, it's there, it's in you. So I do want to close out with making sure that people know how to actually get in contact with you guys. If you guys are interested for, car washes in the DMV area, Mr. Brown, can you go ahead and put that website out there, phone number, whatever somebody need to get in contact with you? Go ahead and throw that out there, please.
prowashdetail.com. Phone number is 301-307-1414. Monday through Saturday, 8 to 6.
How can somebody donate their services? Can somebody donate money? How can people help?
You want to get them tapped in with the Swaliga Foundation, you can go to our website, SWALIGA, swaligafoundation.org. That's .org. If you're on socials, it's at Tribe Swaliga. Definitely tap in with us. You could donate. We are official 501c3 nonprofit. It's tax deductible. And you see exactly where the money goes. You know what I'm saying? You see the work. We out here pouring into these young people, giving them skills, giving them resources. And it takes everybody for us to really be able to do that and have an impact on the level that we want to have it. So definitely check it out, see the work that we're doing. And you can also check out my music. I have a lot of music that is also what I call steam hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like you can listen to one of my songs and learn about physics and atoms. You know what I'm saying? Put that on. That's Mr. Image Music. That's IMAG, no E. Mr. Image Music on all platforms. If you do stream Apple Music, Spotify, or whatever, it's up there too, but you get it directly from my website, MrImageMusic.com, or the label OlayENT.com.
today, both of you. It's one of those things where, we got to encourage each other and help one another. Honestly, I want you guys to be even more successful. You already are successful, but I want to make sure you guys even get to the next level, what that looks like, honestly. So, whatever I can do to support and help, I really appreciate the opportunity. I told you I come and talk to those kids. Y'all got to talk to the parents and see if that's okay. How y'all want to structure that, if that's even possible. We don't even have to necessarily mention firearms or gun. I can kind of stick away from that word and just because that's a big stigma. I get it. But I can talk to them about the consequences of them, being in the streets and the type of things that they're doing with firearms and things like that. So, we could work it out. Definitely anybody who know me know I love the kids, man. They're our future. We had to pour into them, honestly. So, but thank y'all.
Way more than they should about guns. So I think it would be good to have that conversation on a different level. So we'll definitely talk about that for sure.
On a Sunday, well, I'm gonna bless you right now. That's coming soon to theaters for DMV renovations. That he gonna be able to be closed on Sundays and not miss a beat. Not miss a beat. You got this. You can do this. You just gotta prioritize, like Mr. Brown said, and get customer service top notch. We need that Chick-fil-A customer service, and it's gonna happen. Prime example. Prime example. Well, I thank y'all again so much for joining. And anybody, again, if you're new to the channel, I really appreciate you guys. If you subscribe and if you would like to stick around and see more content, take a look at the other videos, the other lives I've done. Is 3 others for Father's Month celebration. We talked about various things that's going to be able to instill dads to rear their children in a very positive manner, honestly, because we need dads to stand up and help not only their kids but the other kids in their community, because not every kid has a dad out there to help them. So sometimes you got to pour into your neighbor. So I just really appreciate everybody joining, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week, and stay tuned to more content. Y'all have a good night. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Continue to increase trouble defense and everything
Yes.
that y'all doing for sure.
Yeah.
Hmm. All right,
Peace
you
and
too.
blessings.